All right, what's up? Today we're going to check out the Erica clap versus this clap, this same clap sampled and then put back and played back through the Rample, the Squarp Rample. So I picked up the Squarp Rample to replace the Erica clap, the hats, and the cymbals module just to get more space to do some other things I wanted to do. But so some quick things about the Rample. It is 16-bit. You can also load an 8-bit file, and the sample rate is 44.1 kilohertz, and it only accepts mono files. No, I take that back. It accepts mono files per channel, but you can do stereo, and it'll take up 2 channels. But in the case of the Erica clap, it's a mono sample, and then, yeah, I just recorded that and didn't change any of the settings, and then dumped that sound into the Rample SD card. And I want to show you, you're going to hear the difference. Just notice the high end, it changes. Now, my theory is that it's because of the 16-bit 44.1. The Erica, it would be the D to A converter, I believe it is 6-bit. Even at 6-bit, it still outputs like a high quality sound. And the other interesting thing to note is that the Erica clap, the sound changes with every single clap. You can see it and hear it. You can see it on a waveform. Like when I recorded into Ableton, I could actually see that the clap, the waveform looks different. Like it peaks at different spots. So that's really important. And I think that's for like any module, like analog, that goes for any analog, is that it for the listener, if the sound is repeating, it reduces ear fatigue because you're not listening to the same sample over and over. But anyway, so I'm going to play the clap first, this clap, the Erica clap, and then I'll play the Rample clap sample. So you'll hear that. All right, here we go. Okay, so this time through, I'm going to flip between the two. So when the switch is up, that is the Erica clap, and then when the switch is down, that is the sample. And I'll try and help you with that. So hopefully you can hear the difference in the sounds. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. The Rample is it's not as forward in the mix. And honestly, one of the things I was thinking about is that the Erica clap cuts so well. It's kind of, it might actually be just a tad too much. So I kind of tend to bring it down in the mix a little bit. So in my situation, I might actually use the Rample for the clap because it's got less of a high end cut to it. So yeah, it's interesting because you can definitely hear the difference between the two. But yeah, so for reference, the Zoom H6 is recording at 24-bit as well. So yep, I just wanted to share that with you. Just because it's not obvious when you listen to demos of, for example, the Rample on YouTube videos. when you're not A/Bing it against other samples, you can't really tell, right? But here there is definitely a difference. The Erica has more high end and it cuts through the mix, and then the Rample doesn't have as much of the high end sizzle to it, and it's a little more mid-rangey. Now the other thing is, which I'm gonna have to check out and set up, but I could record, I think you can record up to 12 samples and round robin those samples based on velocity, or they can cycle randomly. So what that would do, and actually I think you might even be able to cycle, like you step it. So you could play one and then the second sample, then the third. But that would help imitate the difference with each hit that the Erica clap does. Yeah, I mean, I really like the clap. I like this clap a lot. That's the one thing though, is it just cuts so forward in the mix. Which you want. I think it's easier to bring stuff down than to bring it up. But yeah, so I'm gonna experiment with that. I've dropped some hi-hats in here as well. I'm not really too worried about it. That's another thing. The Erica Hats module. The difference in volume, that's my only complaint, is that you can't control the difference between the closed hat volume and the open hat volume. I always feel like the closed hat volume is a little too high versus the open hat, but I think that's just to do with the architecture of how it's set up. But what else was I gonna say? There was something else. Shoot, I can't remember. The way I did this right now, the master bus is inserted, so I do have these EQs, the overseer filter and the compressor on. But when I recorded the samples, I took out these plugs, so it was just straight Erica clap, which is what I want, because I want to, if I remove this module, I want it as true to what the original sound is. So but yeah, it was kind of striking. The difference is striking. That high end goes away. So, but anyway, so I hopefully that helps you out. Gives you an idea. You are going to lose some high end with the Rample. That's just something to watch out for. I don't know if that can be changed. Like if it was built to support 24-bit WAV files, I don't know if that would help, or if it could do like 48 kilohertz files, or even 96K. I don't know if that would make the difference or not. With this stuff, analog signal is going to be round, whereas a digital signal is stepped, and depending on how many times you go back and forth between that, that matters too. But yeah, so it's interesting, and I just wanted to test this out for myself, and there was a difference, and I just wanted to share it with you. So hopefully that helps you out. Overall, I am impressed with the Rample. It has so many features and can do so many things. I think it's going to be a successful replacement for the Erica Hats D and the Cymbals module. And for the Hats module in particular, the one thing I did need to do was map the CV to the length, or I think I did the envelope of the hat sample. So I can now just change the length of the hat sample with this, which you'll see in some videos coming up. But yeah, overall, I think it's going to be great. One last thing, the TR909 had an analog kick drum, analog clap sound, analog snare, analog toms, but the cymbals were all digital. So that makes me feel a little bit better about going into sample realm with the hats and the cymbals, just because that's how it is on a real TR909. So, yeah. All right. So thanks for watching. See you next time.